Yeah, okay.
And Senator
Rumberger.
did it. I call this meeting to order at 7:07 p.m. Please be aware that this meeting may be filmed or audio recorded, and these records, including our meeting minutes, may be made available to the public. Will Senator Ofori please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And then will Senator Rumberger please lead us in the Indigenous Land Acknowledgement?
We acknowledge that the University of Florida is located on the ancestral and present homeland of the Ace, Appalachee, Pulaski, Creek, Miccosukee, and Yamasee peoples, with their main campus located on the ancestral territory of the Seminole peoples. The Tano Timucua affiliation lived here in the Alachua region until the destruction of their towns in the early 1700s. We pay our respects to these indigenous elders, descendants of the past and present, especially those who have called the University of Florida home within their lifetime. And now for a moment of silence.
Thank you. Will a member of the Rules and Ethics Committee please come and conduct roll call?
Alexander.
Here.
Here. Beery. Here. White. Here. Birch.
Here.
Here. Burdette.
Here.
Here. Carvalho. Here. Ceballos. Here. Chohan. Collier. Here. Coburn.
Here.
Here. Comstone.
Here.
Here. Dow. Here. Dees. Here. DeRocher. Here. Delani. Here. Disher. Here. Donovan. Enos. Here. Finbrock. Here. Bull. Frost. Here. Glover. Here. Hire. Here. Buja. Here. Wang. Here. Han. Here. Ionatov. Jankowski. Jones. Here. Kennecor. Here. Kim. Here. Lehau. Little. Here. Longwater. Here. Mahmoody. Here. Menorotin. Here. Mayorga. Here. Nice. Here. Melvin. Meyerowitz. Here. Montgomery. Here. Morris. Murphy. Here. Nunes. Here. Ofori. Here. Orsi. Here. Patel. Here. Peterson. Here. Petros. Here. Ransom. Here. Reinstein. Here. Brandenburg. Here. Robson. Here. Rodriguez. Here. Rowe. Here. Rubio. Here. Rumberger. Here. Saglarios. Here. Salas. Here. Sonrashka. Here. Chandrakar. Here. Stein. Here. Sullivan. Here. Tuttle. Here. Tyson. Here. Batier. Here. Warner. Here. Wilkins. Are there any senators' names that I did not call? There are 59 senators here.
Quorum has been established with 59 senators present. We are now in line for public comments, starting off with Kayla Aurora. You have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
You know, I'd say me and Tyler are the only people in this room who are likely to interact with the court next, so I'd say if our opinion deserves some consideration when it comes to nominations. So I was kind of surprised to see that the names of the nominations for the Supreme Court that you guys are going to be voting on today weren't on the website at all. Now, while you guys aren't technically required to put them on the website, I was kind of concerned by the fact that they just weren't there. Not for the Supreme Court, not for the Elections Commission, not for the Supervisor of Elections, all three of which you guys are going to be voting on today. And so, last year last time these people were being considered, the Judiciary Committee the Judiciary Committee and the Replacement Agenda Committee took the time to sort of discuss on these people, think about like whether these people would be a good fit, how they would interpret the law, whether they were qualified. And I was kind of concerned when I saw that this consideration didn't happen at all this year. The first time I heard that these were being considered was today in the RNA meeting when they approved the nominations with no discussion. Just I move to approve name by unanimous for this role by unanimous consent. I think there should be some level of discussion on these items. I think that a Supreme Court judge stays for the entire time of their term, so they'll be here for anywhere from a year to 3 years. And that's really going to have an impact on the way that the Senate works over the next few years. A couple of years ago, when there was pretty improper data for the way that the apportionment worked, the court had to step in and ensure that apportionment was done correctly. When Senate parties refused to meet in person, the court had to step in and ensure they actually met. I believe that, quite frankly, the Senate should have done a better job in ensuring that these people were right before they moved them to a vote. Now, I'm not saying that they're the wrong person. In fact, a senator in this room told me that one of them was their childhood friend. So I'm not saying that they're the wrong person. But I think there should have been stronger oversight on making sure that these people were the right fit for the job prior to advancing them to a vote. That's all I'll say. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Good luck at Hoops Caucus. Good luck at basketball tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now live for Tyler Sklar. You have 5 minutes whenever you're ready.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I heard that last week that Senate barely met with quorum, but only one senator. So hopefully that has been fully verified with 51 physical voting records, or fully accurate according to the voting record. Anyway, so I'm just going to talk about the budget because there's a lot that I have to say, but I never had the chance to say over the past 2 years. And I see the budget really hasn't changed over the past 2 years. So basically, here you see the starting with 0% budget, and there's a lot to criticize about it. I would say because the line items are very much lacking any descriptions or narratives for why there's a bunch of money allocated for them. For example, there's this line item called food, and it has $10,000 allocated. Why? What kind of food? Is it catered? Is this food spent at events, or is it like personal use? Is this a one-time expense, or is it used multiple times annually? That is not explained in the budget. And I feel like, at first glance, I think the obvious answer to this, if we need to preserve money and spend more on other things, is to get rid of it entirely. Why should we even spend on food if it's not going to be explained? I talked to the last 3 statewide treasurers on this issue, minus the current one, and they all haven't been able to give me an actual explanation on why we are allocating $10,000 for food, or why we're allocating $5,000 to our awards, or what exactly is advertising spent on, or what exactly is the breakdown for elections? $30,000. What is that used for? Is that for staff stars or what? The computers? That is not explained in the budget. And I have my notes here, and there's a lot of other things that are left unexplained, such as student officer salaries. That isn't fully broke down, and the only way we can really access that is through public record requests, which can take months on end, which is not enough to really scrutinize when this budget is passed. I feel that this is a major issue because, the Senate is supposed to evaluate this budget, like the entire body, not just the committee. And when the Senate just met with zero explanation for these line items, well, I was even supposed to really reasonably be speaking common about this. There's zero information provided to the public. There's zero information provided to the other senators out of the committee on how these items are actually spent. And even in the big four hearings, these items are just glossed over without any actual explanation. Even for class council programs, shouldn't I expect a reasonable breakdown for every single program? No, it's just $45,000 entirely. Where's the explanation for that? And we're subtracting $20,000 from SD projects. Well, what is SD projects actually spent on? What's the breakdown for that? How will that actually impact SD projects? That's not in the budget, and there's no explanation given to the public. Now, there's booklets that the committee has, but that's not really available to the public. Get the public or request that, that's even impossible. And as you can see, Axe and SGP, they have these big budgets, like over $500,000, and there's zero breakdown. Like, what is it actually spent for? Programs? What does that actually mean? Service learning? What does that actually mean with these programs? Makes zero sense from public case. And then there's also the supplemental allocations. What's the actual explanation for this beyond just committee hearings? Because the public's not actually provide any written explanation for this. There's no narrative. And I feel like it's a major concern because at the Big Four hearings, there was a lot of talk about major issues regarding Big Four, such as the combined $1.4 million deficit from the right team and right training source. And I don't think there hasn't really been a fully planned 4-year plan for that. And the committee even like spoke out against it, but there wasn't really any pushback. There's no actual plan. Where's the ensuring of financial stability? The right team says they have a large backlog of maintenance repairs, that's the post, that can see what they currently have in reserves and force the university to take out expensive roads. That's not in the budget. I haven't seen that committee actually talk about it in the budget reports. They just said the Big 4 years went well. Well, these problems seem to be what should be talked about, not just stuff going well. And there have been talks about from other Big 4s that options are running out. Shouldn't that be very concerning if we're going to be allocating all this money? We should be thinking about the stability of this budget and the deficit. That's not been talked about at all. And there's no previous explanations, there's nothing anyone knows about this, there's nothing about any of this deficit. And this is a big underlying problem that's been on my face in 5 years. So there should be an explanation for this. There should be serious discussions on affordability, tuition, quality service publicly, not just in committees and not just in private chats. This should be a public thing because this is what the student government, this is like the big thing for the student government. This is the major thing the student government votes on. And it seems like all we're doing is just voting on a budget every year of any pushback. It just seems like it's rubber stamping. And there's no like actual booklets. There's no explanation, as I said. We're acting like this is the 2000s or 1980s. It's the 2020s. We should have explanations on all of this stuff, not just gossip or just explanations from small explanations budget hearings. So I think in the future that the budget committee needs to really improve on transparency, and that means actually overhauling how this budget is presented. Because right now it's just a bunch of line item transfers that just says like 10-year plans. What does that actually mean? Sports clubs. What does that actually mean? Personnel. What does that actually mean? Fin services. What does that actually mean? It doesn't make any sense. That should explain. The public should not be left in the dark about this. This is a major budget. This is one of the primary reasons student government exists. It should be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you. We are now in line for executive branch reports. Is there anyone here from the executive branch? Seeing none, we are now in line for judicial branch reports. Is there anyone here from the judicial branch? Seeing none, we are now in line for goodbye speeches. There are none. We are now in line for amendments to the minutes. Are there any amendments to the minutes? Seeing none, we are now in line for amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Majority Party Leader Alexander.
I move to add all legislation approved by the Judiciary Committee to the agenda under first reading by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to add all legislation approved by the Judiciary Committee to the agenda under first reading by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Follow up.
I move to create a block of all legislation under first reading by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to create a block of all legislation under first reading by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow
up.
I move to pass the aforementioned block of legislation under first reading by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to pass the aforementioned block of legislation under first reading by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow
up.
I move to create a block of all legislation under second reading, excluding SSB 2026-1082 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to create a block of legislation under second reading, excluding SSB 2026-1082 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow
up.
I move to pass the aforementioned block of legislation under second reading by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to pass the aforementioned block of legislation under second reading by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow
up.
I move to add all absences approved by the Rules and Ethics Committee to the agenda by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to add all absences approved by the Rules and Ethics Committee to the agenda by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow
up.
I move to approve all absences by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve all absences by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add all university committee nominations to the agenda under executive nominations by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to add all. Say one more time.
I move to add all university committee nominations to the agenda under executive nominations by unanimous consent.
Okay, there's been a motion to add all university committee nominations to the agenda under executive nominations by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to create a block of all university committee nominations by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to create a block of all university committee nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to approve the aforementioned block of university committee nominations by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to approve the aforementioned block of university committee nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add Isabel Ponce's nomination for the Supreme Court to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to add Isabel Ponce's nomination for the Supreme Court to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add Hannah Stockel's nomination for the Supreme Court to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to add Hannah Stockel's nomination for the Supreme Court to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add Caitlin Berger's nomination for the Election Commission to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to add Caitlin Berger's nomination for the Election Commission to the agenda to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add Laura Nassi's nomination for the Election Commission to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to add Laura Nassi's nomination for the Election Commission to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to add McKenna Romero's nomination for the Supervisor of Elections to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to add McKenna Romero's nomination for the Supervisor of Election to the agenda under judicial nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to create a block of all judicial nominations by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to create a block of all judicial nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to approve the aforementioned block of judicial nominations by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to approve the aforementioned block of judicial nominations by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to adopt the agenda by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. All right, thank you guys for bearing with us. We will now be moving into executive branch nominations. There are none. We are now in line for judicial branch nominations. There are none. We are now in line for legislative branch nominations. There are none. Or actually, did we go over? We do have legislative branch nominations. Actually, we can't. We can add them. Okay, there are none. We are now in line for legislation under first reading. There are none. We are now in line for legislation under second reading, starting with SSB 2026-1082. May an author or sponsor of SSB 2026-1082 comes to the front of the chamber. You have 5 minutes to present whenever you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. So yes, this is the fiscal year 2027-2028 activity and service fee budget. I'll kind of go over it again really quickly. So we did a 0% increase this year, and kind of elaborate on this and kind of some background. The 0% increase is based on A&S fees, and A&S fees are not increasing for the upcoming year. And typically to see an increase in the budget, so if we did request an increase on in the budget and had we wanted to raise the amount of money that we were allocating, it would essentially require an increase on fees on students. And while I do acknowledge that in the upcoming years it is impractical for fees to remain stagnant while inflation is high and costs are rising, it was not in the committee's opinion that we wanted to increase fees on students now. There is still reserves in most of the Big Four entities. Student government still has reserves. So if something does go terribly wrong, there is still money that we can use to essentially get through those obstacles in the upcoming years. But yes, eventually it will most likely be the case that A&S fees have to be raised. But it was the committee's opinion that it would be better to push that off because affordability is really important to students, and we would much rather see students have lower tuition and fees than increasing fees too early or proactively before it really was something we needed to do. And kind of to focus on the breakdown on some of these, this is the breakdown. We have direct sports, rights union, student engagement, student government, budgets, accident, kind of scrolling. A lot of these, so this budget is actually a year away. So this goes into effect for 2027, 2028. So kind of touching on some of these, for example, class councils, just for example. So right now, since this is a 2027, 2028 budget, we do not know who the officers for class councils will be a year from now. So essentially a lot of these are left open to interpretation by those who will be elected because it's impractical to break down things super specifically for people who essentially are not in their positions yet. So it's hard to say what will the class councils agency want to do a year from now. While it's just not practical to do that. Other things to look at. So the proviso, yes, so we authorized $26,299 to the Recre sport or to the Recre lockers at Honors Village. Essentially what this project will accomplish is student government will be purchasing a Recre locker for the Honors Village turf, and then it will essentially in a year from now be implemented, and then housing will pay for the cost to operate it. But it is a wonderful initiative, and we will be able to give access to frisbees, footballs, and a lot of other equipment to students in that area. Additionally, we have $272,000 of one-time recurring fees or one-time recurring supplemental that we decided to table. The A&S money is not, or this money is not being used until a year from now, so it gives us time to essentially put this off and allow for the Big Four entities to use the money later. But yeah, this is the budget bill. Thank you.
Okay, we are now in line for 5 minutes of non-debatable technical questions. Again, for anyone who doesn't know, a non-debatable technical question shall be any question that can be answered with yes, no, or a known fact. Let me get my timer up. Oh, actually, I'm at 1%. Can we do it? Yeah. Sorry, guys. 5 minutes. Starting now. Okay, seeing none, we are now in line for debate. There are going to be 3 rounds of con pro debate, 3 minutes per round per side, and then 1 final round of 4 minutes per side. Starting. 1 second. 3 minutes of con starting now. Seeing none, we now move into 3 minutes of pro. Starting now. Seeing that there is none, you're now back in line for con. 3 minutes, starting now. Seeing none, we are now back in line for pro, starting now. Rules and Ethics Committee Chair, UJ. There's been a motion for previous question by unanimous consent. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes. Okay, we are now in line for a vote on SSB 2026-1082. Or actually for motion on 2026-1082. Do I hear any motions? Your Rules and Ethics Committee Chair, UJ.
I move to pass SSB 2026-1002 by a rising vote.
One more time, what was that number?
SSB 2026-1002.
1082?
1082.
Remake that motion.
I move to pass SSB 2026-1082 by a rising vote.
Okay. There. Everyone in favor, please rise. Okay, thank you. You may be seated. Anyone opposed? And anyone abstaining? Seeing as that was a clear and convincing majority, SSB 2026-1082 has been passed. Okay, we are now in line for vetoes. There are none. We are now in line for absences. There are none. We are now in line for my report. Okay, guys, so just really quickly before we move into anything else, I just want to establish our next meeting is going to be August 25th. It's going to be the same place. It's going to be right to Union Senate Chamber, and then it'll be at 7:30. We do 7:30 meetings in the fall. And then just kind of like a side little tangent, if anyone in here is going to be returning in the fall and is interested in helping out with an initiative focused on senator retention and recruitment, find me after the meeting. And then I also want to say thank you to anyone who's this is their last meeting. We've done a lot of great work in the Senate chamber this summer. I'm really proud of everyone who has been here, and hopefully for a lot of people who will continue to be here in the fall. Anyone who won't be, though, I want you to know that my door is always open. You can find my office hours on the website, and if not, most of you already have my contact info. Just shoot me a text. My door is always open. And then another big thank you to Gabby and Antonia. This is also their last meeting. If we could give them a round of applause. So much for our Senate. And so it really is important if you guys see them later tonight, or if you see them kind of walking around when we get back in the fall, please give them a big thank you. And yeah, that's it for me, everyone. I will see you all come fall. We're now in line. Sorry, guys. We're now in line for standing committee reports with Pro Temp Orphan.
Okay, hi everyone. Yay, happy last meeting. Thanks for spending your summer with us. It's been awesome. I hope you think it's been awesome as well. Okay, for RNA, the time, date, and location is TBD because that won't be happening until the Sunday before our first meeting in August, which I think is the 23rd for RNA. Yes, because our first meeting is the 25th. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, but look out for that. And then open seats, I don't have to say all the replacements anymore, which is great. Committee seats, we have 4 right now. Yep. 4 open seats. Maybe. Yep. Yeah. Open permanent seats, we have Graham. Graduate, there's 5. Dentistry, and then 2 off campus. And yep, that's all from me. Thanks.
Okay, we are now in line for the Judiciary Committee report with, where's Vice Chair? Kim, there you are.
Not much from Abigail, just had his summer, and then I'll show you the voter record at that end. Yeah, have a summer.
Thank you. We are now in line for the Budget and Appropriations Committee report with Chair Cupstone.
Hey everyone, thank you all for all of your hard work this summer, especially shout out to the Budget Committee. I'm really happy that we were able to get the budget bill passed. It was a very wonderful process, and yeah, not a lot for me. Thank you everyone, and have a good rest of your summer.
Thank you. you. We are now in line for the Rules and Ethics Committee report with Chair Eugen.
Hi everyone, happy last day. This means your constituency is due. So once the meeting is adjourned, your constituency that is a hard cutoff, every submission that we have has a timestamp. If it is after the time that the meeting is adjourned, it will not count and you'll be on probation. So like right now, if you have anything you've done in the past 7 days, submit your constituency right now. Like take a minute, double check it. You should be getting an email saying like this was submitted into the portal, like check it right now and make sure your constituency is done. Take a screenshot, literally make sure you have that done right now. But other than that, Wilson Ethics had a great summer. Love seeing everyone's submissions and how people enjoyed line dancing and all the different things over the summer, and have a phenomenal fall.
Thank you. We are now in line for the Information and Communications Committee report with Chair Meyerowitz.
Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you for a wonderful center retreat today. It was great camaraderie, a lot of board games being played, a lot of groups talking to each other. It was a great way to spend the hour before. Also, somebody left an Owala behind, just knocked it over, but if this is yours, find me after the meeting, and if not, I'm claiming it. Other than that, we have a basketball game after this at 9 p.m. We're on court 4. On the bleachers, you'll be able to sit. Highly encouraged to show up and support the team. It's win or go home. We don't want to go home, so we appreciate all the support. But other than that, have a wonderful rest of your summer. I'm excited to be back and see you all in the fall.
Okay, we are now in line for ad hoc committee reports. There are none. Okay, 1 second. We are now in line for general announcements. Are there any general announcements? Yes, Senator Tuttle.
Hi everyone. Thank you to everyone who's been here over summer, especially summer senators. I was a summer senator, so I get it. I respect the hustle. INC has a banner up. If any of you want to farm for your LinkedIn, feel free to take a picture after. One of us, I'm sure, would take it. Definitely make that post and then tag all of us. But yeah, have a great rest of your summer.
Are there any other general announcements? Seeing none, I adjourn this meeting at 7:39 p.m. Please turn your voter record in at the front of the chamber.
Hey, wait. No. Oh, she's coming up to the front. Okay, never mind.
What?
Like, didn't you say like you were going? I'm confused.
The names. I just don't know which position.
You know, how to fill out like the voter
read them all.
record. It's not mine. Yeah. Wait. I'm sorry. I just.
Oh, you're good.